Salute TGL family. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what time of the day it is that you watch this. Before I begin this video, I want to take a second to address something that's going on. Somebody's impersonating me and messaging y'all and trying to get y'all to invest some kind of crypto. The bottom line, let me just address this. When I started the channel, I had crypto wallets and crypto all over because I started out as a crypto investor. Like, I didn't know about trading at first. I was just heavily into crypto. This is in 2018 to 2019. I got into trading I'd say like late 2018, 2019. It seemed like I keep pushing it up because I started learning about trading in 2018, didn't know what it was. I didn't start actively trading live money until 2020. So I'm accounted from 2020, but I knew about it a little before that. Like I said, one of my friends, he was a trader since like 07. And I didn't know what it was. So I was working, because remember, I started my job 2000, and I worked like 21 years at this one plant, and then I worked 3 years of summer help at another plant. Anyway, long story short, before I get into the video, they're impersonating me and asking you guys to invest crypto and send some kind of crypto. I do not share my crypto wallet with strangers. If I don't know you, I don't deal with you in crypto, because with crypto wallets, you can actually track people's money and see all kinds of things that they think this is private. Like, everyone thinks they're being smart and shifty. You can follow people through a crypto address and find out mad stuff about them. So I don't share that because to me it's too personal. Even though people think it's secure, it's not as secure as people think. Anyway, I would never DM someone and ask them anything about crypto. I don't deal in crypto for two reasons. One, because it is trackable if you know how to track it. And two, to the average person, once you send it, there is no way to get your money back. So I always deal with transactions where you could get a receipt from me with my name on it and everything, and you could track that money, to just make it legit. Because when people spend money, you want to know it's legit. Even though a lot of y'all be in these Telegram groups and WhatsApp app groups spending money in there through these weird links, and I don't know why y'all allow it so much. I guess people be desperate for change, and I get that, but I'm just letting you know that's not really the right way to do things, and I don't indulge in those things. Everything that I do is traceable through the IRS and through the government and stuff like that. All right, so if I DM you asking about crypto, that is not me. You should block that account immediately. I never DM people. I never ask for money from people. And I don't talk about crypto with strangers. I just don't. You know what I mean? I even took all those videos down from the first year I started this channel. Anyway, so let's get into the topic. Should you quit your job to become a full-time trader in 2024? This came up in the Discord a couple days ago. And shout out to Forever Motivated, one of the best dudes in the group. He was saying that his job is getting in the way of his trading. And I was telling him that's a good problem. And then another guy, I think his name is Missile. If I'm saying your name wrong, I apologize. He was also complaining about that too. And I just want to let y'all guys know something. Having a job is not a bad thing. And if I could go back in time, would I quit my job to become a full-time trader? I'm going to be honest with y'all. The answer is fuck yeah, I would do it again. But I had days when I wish I was back at my job. And I'm going to tell y'all the truth in 2024. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The truth is, it's all about the setup for you. For me, I had planned to leave my job about 1.5 to 2 years. I hated my job for the 20 years that I was there. I hated it for 10 of those years. And I'll tell that story here for the new subscribers. I was working, when I got to my job, it was primarily full of Caucasian people. This is not about race or racism or anything like that. I'm just explaining the environment. And they weren't really used to black people being there at the time that I came to this job. It was primarily Irish and Italian guys. Cool people too. I made friends with a lot of them, and they're good people. I love some of those guys. Anyway, long story short, when I was there with them, they were kind of like not really used to being around black people, and I could tell, or black, brown, whatever you want to call it, no one that was just not white. And it was a couple of Puerto Rican and Dominican cats there, but those were the type of Dominicans and Puerto Ricans that would pass for white as well. It wasn't no actual hood dudes in there, like ninjas. You know what word I want to use. It wasn't none of them really in there. I was like the first that they would classify as that. A dude that's black or brown from the block. Let me just be clear, okay? Pookie Ray Ray. I would be classified as that to these people. So anyway, long story short, they showed me everything, and everything was cool. I was getting along with them. You know, it was dope to kind of learn the culture a little bit more. I made some good friends with some dudes there that, you know, some dudes that's not black. And over the years, like, you know, time started changing. A lot of city jobs, a lot of trade jobs and everything started to become blacker and browner. White people started like moving out, moving away, moving out of the city, moving to Long Island, and just moving away. And we got a black boss, and unfortunately when he came, I just started hating it. You know, I started hating it. He created a real toxic environment. It was a lot of jealousy of the black people that started to come in, because one by one we started getting in there. And he just seemed like he was from Haiti, and he seemed like he didn't like African Americans. It was just a lot of weird, stupid stuff with this guy, to the point where it just didn't make sense. Long story short, that was the start of me hating the job. So he got there. He was there for me with about 10 years. It was 10 years. It was a horrible experience. Anyway, long story short, he hired a lot of his friends, his family and friends, and these people had these privileges, so they didn't really do any work, so it was more work for me. I knew what I was doing because I was there with the people who took the job serious, and unfortunately, white people took that job way more serious than the black people. All the black people did when they came there is they didn't want to work. They complained all the time, and it made me feel ashamed of our people, because that's pretty much all they wanted to do, was look for an easy way or a way to not do anything. And I started to understand the mindset of our people, that that's kind of what goes on, right? So long story short, I left my job in 2021. So around 2018, when I started investing in crypto, I was looking at that as a way out of my job. I was looking for a way to leave my job and make money to replace what I made in my job, because I was making over $1,000 a week in my job, and it was not enough that I felt like I couldn't do it outside, because I had other hustles. I had websites. I was selling video games. I was selling graphic designs. I was doing prints. I was selling t-shirts. Like, I was doing everything, guys. I was doing all kinds of hustles on the side because I had child support. And I would make good money on the side. You know what I mean? And it would get to the point sometimes where I was repairing video game consoles too. That was a big thing that I did. I met a guy in the military who was doing it in Bay Ridge, and he was showing me. He wasn't showing me. I was watching him, and due to the power of YouTube, I was able to go online and see how it was done. And I self-taught myself how to repair electronics, because I was always crafty. I know how to build computers. So I did all of this stuff on the side. I'm trying to hurry up and get to the point because the video is long. And as I started learning these things and doing all of these side hustles, I started to realize I could supplement my job money if I really pushed myself. But the thing is, I knew I was going to have to work harder to make myself independent versus just going to work and doing whatever I was told to do. The problem though with my job is, even though I was doing my job, this guy and his friends and family was just hating because I had seniority. I had been there for so long. I had a first right to shifts, overtime, and all of these things that these guys wanted. Meanwhile, I never wanted overtime. I just wanted to go on the day shift and get away from the newer guys, because all the newer guys started the second and third shift. We didn't even have a third shift when I started the job. It got so bad that they had to make a third shift because these guys was that fucked up. Seriously, it was disappointing that black people came there and messed this job up like that. So anyway, long story short, once I started getting those preferences, people started to get jealous because they were looking at me like, hey, only the old white guys get these shifts. Why are you there and you're younger? I said, yo, because I started early. When I was 19, I was working. When I was 16, I was working. I moved out from my mother and father when I was 16. I was 16 in high school with my own place. You know what I mean? I was 17 with a car. People was like, you know, people don't understand. I started real early with wanting to be independent. Like, my parents had me, God bless them, because everything they taught me now, I appreciate it. But back then, I felt like I was going through torture. So anyway, what you don't know, right? So anyway, long story short, I started in 2018 preparing to leave my job. I got into crypto. I started learning about credit. I had no credit. I started building on my credit. I got to an 800 and change in my credit score. I got 6 figures in credit. I started saving. I had when I got ready to leave, I had about 20,000 saved up. And then when I put in for my retirement from my job, The facility I told y'all I was at, they actually announced that they were going to close 30 days after. Now, let me tell you this story about it. Some of the white dudes that I was cool with who were old timers, they started to see that this guy was hiring his family. And there was a little bit of racism in this. They didn't like the fact that these dudes was black and they had accents and they couldn't understand them. They spoke another language and it was racism involved in that. But they decided to appreciate me because, hey, I'm black and I'm American. I speak English. So they picked the lesser of two evils. They said, we got to deal with ninjas. Let's deal with the ninjas that's at least born here. And that's definitely racist. But it was sad because they kept giving these people reasons to not like them by being so shitty with the work. So long story short, I keep saying that and I keep going. But long story short, you know, I saw that it was just time, just like the white people did. And I felt like moving on because it got to the point where these people were just in there just messing up the job. And you hate to see a job you worked at for so long go that way. But at the end of the day, I had to realize too, it ain't my company. It ain't my, if they don't care up top, why the hell do I? So I knew how to mind my business in these situations, but I just saw it and did feel bad about it because it was a little embarrassing to me as a black person that these white people looked down at us and they was giving them reason to. So I started building up my credit, got my money. And then when I put in for my papers, I had to tell you about my boss. People started quitting the job. Like everybody started quitting the job, like one by one. People who were there 20 years, 30 years were just quitting instead of retiring. They were leaving, quitting. And he was starting to, and they were keeping the job up for his family. And we all would talk. All the people who knew how to do the job would talk. And we would be like, yo, this is, we gonna have to get out of here. This is bad. He's ruining the job. And he really was. And it was sad. And I actually thought the guy was okay, but he kept showing me that side of him when I seen that. And I was just like, this guy's terrible, man. He's just terrible all around, a terrible person. So one of the foremans, they've created a foreman job, and the foreman was a guy I was cool with named Gannon. And he came to me and was like, you know, I've been working for DEP on the side. I'm going to leave. I'm going to go there. And I was like, yeah, I see you with the uniform. Because sometimes he would come in with half the uniform on. And if you know about jobs and you've been job hunting, you know about these jobs. You know when you see certain things, he work here, he work there, because you trying to get out of your job too. Long story short, again, he came up to me and was like, hey, I'm going to be leaving soon, and gave me a hug and everything. And I thought that was dope because me and him, even though we got along, at first he was one of the guys who didn't like me. And we ended up building a rapport because he saw that I wasn't a bad person. I was just a dude trying to work. I wasn't coming in on no hood stuff, none of that. And we ended up building a rapport and getting along. And he came to me and gave me a hug and said, yo, I'm leaving, and told me bye. He said, just don't tell the boss. Let him figure it out. And then what happened was he would take his vacation. He would call emergency. And he did this for 5 weeks. As you know, the most you could get from our job is 5 weeks vacation. And he started popping emergency. So my boss knew I was cool with him. So he came to me on the second week and said, hey, can I ask you something? I said, what? He said, Gannon just took another emergency. What does that mean? He never did that in all the years that he's been. Because by then, the guy had been here like 10 years, this boss I'm talking about. I said, nah, I don't know, man. Something must have happened. And I knew. He came and told me. So I called my friend John, and I was like, hey, man, the guy's looking for you, this, that, and the third. And he was like, well, don't tell him. So the third week came. He popped another vacation. So now I see the bosses. He don't know what he's doing without him. He's lost. So he's trying to figure it out. So now there's talks that he's going to start making a temporary foreman, which is this dude that everyone hated. And he wasn't entitled to it. I was actually supposed to get the foreman job, but as usual, they found a way to go around all of that. The senior guy on the shift, they gave it to the bottom guy because he was sucking this guy off. Anyway, whatever, because I didn't even care. I was just trying to get, they didn't know I was just so focused on leaving. I was like, you might as well give it to him because he's going to be the one who stays here. I know I'm leaving, so I don't even care about all that because I don't need to fight for something that I know in a month or a year I'm going to be gone. So the fourth week came and it started to come out that the guy had left. Matter of fact, the guy who they was making the second foreman, he saw him because they lived in the same neighborhood. That's another thing about these people. They all live in the same neighborhood by the job. He saw him in a uniform going to the other job. So that's how the rumor came out. So he came to me and was like, hey, Jimmy, you sure you don't know anything? So I called my friend and I was like, look, man, he's asking me. He's all right. You could tell him now because I'm going to take my last week. I said, okay. So I went to him. I said, hey, Gene, that's the guy, my boss's name. I said, hey, Gene, I might as well let you know John said that he's not coming back. His jaw dropped. He was shocked. Like, what? Because this dude, he thought this dude had it made, but he hated working with him because he was so incompetent. And he just jaw just dropped. And I said, yeah, man, he's leaving. And he was like, wow. And he said, what's going on? I said, I don't know, man, but I'm gonna warn you now. It's gonna be a lot more people leaving right after. And he was like, really? I said, yeah. He was like, why? I said, I think you'll figure that out. I think you'll figure it out. So he was like, wow. So then boom, in the next couple of months, one by one, everyone started doing that, the vacation thing. So he just was like looking at it, all the veterans, all the good workers. So the job started to get worse. It started to be a lot more overtime. People weren't getting their work done. The next shift would have to come in and do work for the other shift because it was just so much work left behind. Everybody was stuck working overtime in there. Everybody. So when it was my turn now, I went up to him at the end of the year, 2020. I remember this. End of the year, I went up to him. I said, hey, Gene, I got to tell you something. He said, what? I said, it's time for me to pick my vacations. He said, yeah. I said, well, I'm going to make you happy. I want the whole month of January. He said, the whole month? All your vacation? I said, yep, I want all my vacation. And his jaw dropped. He said, no. Now, mind you, me and this guy really didn't get along like that. It's just that I knew how to do the job, and I looked out for his family because his family was black. And I was looking out for them because they were embarrassing me. I didn't look out for them because I liked them. I looked out for them because they were making us look bad as a people. So he just was shocked. He didn't believe I was really going to leave. I'm like, bro, how you don't think I'm going to leave and you acting like this and you running everybody out of this place? So boom. He was like, oh, I got to stop y'all from doing this emergency vacation thing. He actually went to the bosses and the union and tried to stop people from taking all their vacations at once to stop it. And I was shocked. I said, you really want to stop me from leaving? But meanwhile, y'all was complaining while I was here. Now you don't want me to leave? Too late. I'm out of here. So long story short, I had already went to the union. I had 24 years. I said, how much am I going to get? They showed me how much I was going to get credited for. And I put in my papers. And everyone was like, you're too young, you're too young, you're too young, you're too young. Because the truth is, I'm too young to collect my pension right now. I'm actually not even old enough to qualify for my pension. But it'll be there when I do get old enough. And I'm going to get into all that. Sorry this video is so long. So when I went to him, I had already got it approved by the union that I'm leaving. I had my date and everything. I was leaving. December 31st was my last day. I already was done. So he just couldn't believe it. He was shocked. And a little bit of people were mad that I actually got in a position. I put myself in a position to leave that job. Because for some reason, everyone there thought that you just couldn't find better or you just couldn't leave. Like, yeah, the job did pay good, but it was not worth what we was going through. They were just completely taking advantage and hoeing us out. So I did that, and this is where it gets crazy. So a week or two later, after I did that, the big boss comes and he says, hey, we're gonna have a meeting and it's very important that everybody shows up to this meeting on every shift. I said, oh, that sounds bad. Y'all gotta hear this. They hold a meeting and they announce to everyone in the building that the job will be closing. Everyone will be fired. And based off how many people they're gonna need, they're gonna call everybody back. They dissolved our contract because our contract was ending. They were not gonna renew the contract, and they had to pay us for the rest of the years in the contract. They had to pay everybody for the rest of the years in the contract because, you know, when you work a job like that, you have a contract. You negotiate contracts. I was on a contract negotiation committee, so I knew that when they said that, I said, oh, they willing to pay to close this building. That's crazy. You know how bad that have to be? So anyway, and they just said, yeah, that's it. Everybody turns to me because I had resigned. I had put in my papers. Everyone turned to me because this was in December, the month I was leaving, and said, how did I know? Listen to how God works, guys. And I swear this is a true story. The day that the building was closing, guess what day that was? It was my last day that I was gonna work. My last day was the last day for everybody. All of them got let go of. I ain't gonna say laid off. They let everybody go. All of them got let go of. Everybody. I just couldn't. I was blown away by that. I had to laugh. God is so good. So everyone thought that I knew something, and that's why I left. So to be spiteful, I quit. I just quit right there. I quit the next day. I just quit. And everybody kept calling me, yo, you're not coming back because they're going to pay you and they're going to give you this and give me that. So I was already getting the severance package and all that other stuff. The money for the contract for the 2 years that was left or whatever, that was a bonus. So on top of what I had saved, they had gave me like another 30,000, something like that. And it helped because I knew I was going to get another 20,000 and this, that, and the third. So I had 5 figures when I was leaving my job. And it was funny because they called all of those guys back one by one and fired all of them. So they fired about 80% of those guys that I worked with because those guys were incompetent that I worked with. It was just bad. So anyway, long story short, now that was my working condition, and I had 6 figures in credit and 5 figures in cash saved up. I had enough to pay all my bills for 18 months. And I would recommend that if you ever consider full-time trading, have at least that. And in 2024, with inflation and the way things are, I don't think it's going to be as easy as it was 4 years ago. Before Biden, you know, when Biden got in office, he messed a lot of things up. And I'm not going to get too political, but I'm just stating the facts. I remember gas was $2 and change when I retired. That summer that I was retired, gas went up to $5 and change. And I was so mad at that because all the money I had saved up, inflation started eating into it. And I'll never forget Mitch McConnell saying that Americans have too much money, and that's why they have this thing called the Great Resignation, where everybody will apparently quitting their jobs. You know, COVID made everybody aware of different things, and people started leaving their jobs, right? So when he said that in like the beginning of spring, and by summer, inflation started to go wild. And food and gas and everything started to go crazy. So people who were not at work were getting ate up. My credit was getting ate up. My cash was getting ate up. And then mind you, I'm trying to run this company. I'm trying to get the software developed. I got developers. I'm paying to work on different pieces of the robots. Can't give them the whole robot because they'll steal it and resell it. And it's just going down. It's just going crazy, right? And that's just the situation. So I would recommend in 2024 you not rush to quit your job to become a full-time trader unless you are very comfortable with your side money. If you have no side money besides trading when you go to quit, it's going to be very aggravating and stressful. So I would suggest that you guys have a side hustle going, man, because I had tons of them. I had a few of them on hand. I was selling software from different types of things. I was selling old t-shirts. I tell you, I had so much things going on. I was doing graphic designs for people. I was doing videos, video editing for people. I was doing a million things, man, to get money. So because of my child support obligations back then, another reason I left my job is because I had you know, I was done paying child support. My kids live with me. My son lived with me. So I had got all that straightened out. Anyway, so I wouldn't recommend you rush into that. I wouldn't rush into it in 2024 unless you got, like I said, 18 months saved up, and you don't know what's going to happen in this country, which is what I saw when I left my job. I did not know that leaving my job, gas was going to double in price and food was going to go through the roof like that. Had I known that, I would have saved up a little bit more money. But would I still leave? Yes. In 2024, would I do it? I would still do it. I would still do it. But like I said, if you don't have another means of money besides trading when you try to retire or leave your job to go full-time, you're going to be stressed out, because this is the part of the video where I got to get into the truth. People don't tell you that when you become a profitable trader, you're going to have people wanting stuff from you, not just that, and you're going to have to perform to pay those bills. People don't tell you that when you become profitable now and start making money, your investments are going to affect, you know, how you live too. Because let's just say you start making $10,000 a month, and let's just say you take $10,000, you make $20,000 over 2 months, you buy an ice cream truck for $14,000. That ice cream truck is now not making no money for you until, you know, you build up a business that could take another year, right? So now you back to $4,000, you pay all your bills. Now you got less money than you had when you was at your job, right? So now you got that stress on you, and now you start thinking, damn, if I was at my job, I actually would be okay. Because now you're taking bigger risks because you're making more money. So you're going to have days when you invest and your money's not coming right back, or it ain't coming back at all. and you got to take those losses, and those losses could be so deep that when you take those losses, they leave you negative or with no money. You know, that happens to me now currently. There's times that I make investments and I'll be like, oh, I shouldn't have did that, and I get my money back, and then I'm like, damn, woo, I almost thought it was over. And I had a lot of days like that where I was like, man, I don't know if I had that little 1,000, 1,500 from my job, I'd be straight right now. But the problem is that 1,000 could keep you from making 10,000 because you're putting so much time into another person's business when you could be trading, which is your own business. So you got to weigh that out, because people do not talk about learning how to stop making those bad investments when you start making profit. Because when you start making profit, you're going to want your money to work for you. Why is that? It's obvious why. The reason you want your money to work for you is because the whole goal is to not be trading. Like me, I posted in the Discord that I took the biggest news day of the week and I traded that day and made enough money in that day so I don't have to trade for the rest of the week. Why? Because I'm starting to realize that you don't want to trade every day. You don't want to be trading all the time. I did it for entertainment purposes, to prove that I had the skill, also to better myself. I feel like the more you trade, even if you're winning or losing, the better you're gonna get. It's like being in a hyperbolic time chamber. If you take 1,000 trades and you look at what you're doing, you're gonna perfect your trading skill like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna recommend you do it, but all those losses I took is how I got to where I'm at now. And through taking so many trades over the last 4 years, I got to a point now where I don't have to trade every day. You see what I'm saying? So that's the goal. Once you become profitable, invest your money and learn how to make money outside of trading and how to not have to trade every day. That's really where I wanted to get at. And this is my first year touching that position where I don't have to trade every day. You know what I'm saying? This week was like the first time I said, yo, I really don't need to trade today and tomorrow. I'm on Wednesday. You know what I mean? I don't have to trade Thursday and Friday. And that's dope. And now that I see all of that, I'm like, wow. And I'm not going to take what I made and go make some investment that's risky, because I do enough risk in the last 3 to 4 years that now I'm just going to chill with what I got and let it produce for me. So should you quit your job to become a full-time trader in 2024? Only if you have income to supplement your job outside of trading. Okay, that's my answer to y'all. Because if you don't, the dark side of what I just said is going to take a toll, man. You might want to invest in some of your friends' businesses. They might not yield returns for a couple months, and now you pumping money into investments that's not producing, and now you don't have your job there, so you don't have that security blanket, and you exposed. But honestly, if you want to make it in this country, you have to take those risks. So it's really up to you, how risky do you want to be. This ain't gonna be for everybody. Everybody not gonna be able to do this. I can tell you this now. This is like for a select group of people, because you're gonna have those days where you might be like, yo, I put too much money into this. How am I gonna pay my car note? How am I gonna pay my phone bill? It could get that bad. It could get that bad. It could get that bad. And if you told people that you trade and they start looking into it behind your back and watching you, they gonna see them profitable days. They not gonna understand them months where, yeah, you didn't make that much. You made 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, and 1 month came where things was going so stupid and crazy, you made 1,000. You made hardly no profit. They gonna think that month was a $10,000 month too. They not gonna hear that you didn't make 10,000 this month, because they gonna be the first ones to tell you how it's crap, it's nonsense, it's dumb, and you gonna be mad and you ain't gonna like it, and you gonna be like, freak this, and you gonna want to go back to your job. You gonna want to run back to your job like a little baby. I'm being real with y'all. It's gonna be days like that. So it's not for everybody. Some people gonna quit their job and go back to work. Most of y'all are gonna do that, because this ain't easy. It's entrepreneurship to a T, and it ain't easy. So do I recommend you do it? Only if you really, really want to break the 9 to 5. You have to jump out there, but it ain't gonna work for everybody. It's hard, man. A lot of people don't tell you that this full-time trading is super hard, yo. It's hard. It's gonna be days where you're gonna really question yourself, and you're gonna be still profitable and still be like that. Crazy, right? So let me be the first to warn y'all about that. Let me be the very first to warn y'all. It gets wild. So just know that. Just know that. So I wanted to hop in here and make this video to tell y'all, in 2024, should you become a full-time trader? I would say sure, but only if you meet the criteria I presented to you in this video. Have some credit and have some money saved up. And I'm talking about, I would do 2 years, not even 18 months, just because of the inflation factor. You know what I mean? Hopefully y'all investing in some metals and y'all got some money somewhere sitting somewhere, so you know you could pull that out. Because Lord knows I don't have to pull stocks. I had GameStop stocks and all that stuff I invested in during the pandemic when it crashed, and it inflated once everything got back to normal. I pulled about half of that out or more. You know what I mean? So I had my moments when I had to pay my people that I had working for me, and I didn't have those good weeks, those good months where I had so much going out from what I was making, there was hardly nothing left for me to even eat. And I still ain't come on here and beg and cry, because y'all see me posting profitable trades. Y'all gonna go, well, what the hell is going on? How come you have no money? Because I'm trying to supplement my life without having to rely on trading. Because if you get to the point where that's all you have, you gonna go through some shit. So I recommend don't do that. Do not become a full-time trader if all your income is coming from trading when you do it. You need a couple months to maybe a year or better of just getting used to how all of that stuff swings and works. You need that. All right. So, all right. I'm gonna leave this in the video. That guy made it his business to come over here, so I gotta, you know, I'm in a city where you gotta watch that. So anyway, and I'm not editing that out. But anyway, yeah, man. So just be careful, because don't be too risky to the point where you earn your fate of your demise, because you still got to be a little bit safe in the beginning. Don't just go crazy. I didn't go crazy, and I want to be very clear. I saved up for like 2 years. I prepared. I built my credit from a no credit to an 800. I had 6 figures in credit. I have regular credit. I had business credit. I had severance packages. I had savings. I had investments in crypto. I had investments in stocks. I had money everywhere. You know what I mean? I had money all over the place. When you break it down, I probably had easily 6 figures. When you break down everything, over 6 figures, I did. And you know, it all went to, and that was 18 months. Like, before I got everything straight, I was down to this. I was pulling money out of everywhere, yo. And I was like, yo, I think this is a bad decision I made. And then right when God is good. I give the glory to God on this. Right when I got to the very end of what I had, everything started picking back up. And that's when I slowed down on the development of the robots and stuff, because I was spending way too much money paying developers. It got to a point with developers where I was paying them and they wasn't returning the work properly. I was going through arbitrations and people was taking money. When you go through arbitrations, you got to pay for, you know, legal fees and stuff. You got to pay fees. So regardless, if I put 10,000, I'm going to lose 2,000 just because it didn't go right. So now I'm getting back 8 and putting back in another 2, losing it. It's just like trading. So bottom line, that people don't tell you about these ins and outs of this business of trading full time. It's not for everybody. It's going to have days when you're not going to be sure, even when you're profitable. And you still got to get used to that. So hopefully y'all share this video with people that need to hear it. And people just listen to what I'm saying, man, because the truth is, yo, it ain't going to be for you, everybody. Even if you're profitable, it still don't mean it's for you. So if you got a good job and you like it, I would trade and save up money until your lifestyle is in a place where you could change your life. You could go buy a house and a car cash, and you making way more money than you did at your job. Because if you are making $1,000 a week at your job and you trade and making $1,000 a day, yeah, you at a point where you could leave your job. You know what I mean? Even when you pay for your medical and all that, you still gonna be up about 30,000, right? So I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about people that are trying to like really change their life, as far as like, okay, you're trading and you're investing your money, buying houses or putting it into some kind of other avenues of income that's going to produce for you to supplement a 9 to 5. So that way you never even have to think about it. So I know this video was long. Like, comment, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who made it to the end and watched the video, because the viewership went down for a lot of YouTube channels over the summer because people are home and they're on vacation and doing things. I'm gonna put this video out anyway, even though I know I expect low viewership on it. But I wanted to make this video to help y'all because I saw that topic coming up in the Discord, and I want to tell y'all the truth because a lot of people tell the story and leave out the parts at the end of this video that I just explained to you about. Even in a profitable point in your trading, you could still invest your money poorly and lose it all. Y'all just buy things. Some of the people that I know is profitable, y'all buy a lot of things that don't yield any returns and you go broke because you spend it because it's exciting, and I get it. But just keep that in mind, all right? And for those of you that are profitable, when you have those unprofitable moments, that's going to really hurt you too, especially when you have investments out there and you got things to pay and you had a bad month. So now you're going into the little bit of money you might have had on the side. And when you divvy all of that up, there's nothing left for you personally because you got to fulfill all these obligations and pay these bills. It's terrifying. It's terrifying, okay? So I'm in the video here and y'all be good. Peace.